we need to reimagine the future for tourism. When we imagine, some of us would like to close our eyes, but please don't go to sleep. We have an important agenda to do. Next slide, sir. Whoa. Anyway, the issues that had been mentioned by Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Panglima, Harry Huang, and Datuk Suraya, 3 issues, big ones, which are, why are we here today? Because business cannot be as usual. We need to develop tourism to become more sustainable. And we've heard throughout the many months and previous years, including during the pandemic, when we build, we must build better. It must be better. Business cannot be as usual. And building back greener, that is a challenge. And to do this, for the tourism services provider, particularly the hotel managers, we had been for the past 2 months getting together with them to look at how green hotel management practices, for example, looking at the environmental aspects, economic aspects, and social aspects, we need to do better. And when we are doing this, we need to align to the national policies. And in Malaysia, quite a few months ago, there had been announced a new energy policy, bringing us to 2040. The president of SDSN, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, the world-renowned economist, always say, hey, countries of the world, you have beautiful roadmaps, you have beautiful blueprints, but you need to figure out what are the 5-year programs, 7-year program, 10-year program. Look at it, do it step by step. The devil is in the detail, but that detail is much needed. Malaysia, we have the National Tourism Policy. Sustainability is the big agenda inside it. And of course, IPCC call for better act and thinking to rise up to the challenges of rising up to policy on climate change. WST in Malaysia is a water sector transformation up to 2040. And local district plan. Whatever we do, bring it down to state, to local level. And nowadays, all industries are encouraged to think of ESG, environment, sustainability, and governance. You must track how your company or entity is doing, try to report it, try to share that information with the public. And of course, all this shall contribute to the agenda of reducing our carbon emission, lowering it, and in most countries and in most districts, they announce a low carbon city, low carbon island, and so on. Then, Malaysia, are you alone? Our country, are we alone? No. You look at the regional initiative. And for us, it's always the ASEAN, like the ASEAN Tourism Strategic Plan, and of course, MOTAC, they always provide the standards and the guidelines. And again, at the global level, it is SDG, business industry, look at the Global Compact. Next one, please. Yeah. Economic impact, whatever we do, we need to ensure, even though we are faced with challenges, there are always business opportunity. And that business opportunity must not only benefit a certain group, but must be shared as far as possible with all tiers of society. And challenges in tourism industry, of course, forever we are challenged with the fluctuation in currency exchange, seasonal dependence, taxation, inflation, and regulatory issues. But as all our distinguished speakers had mentioned this morning, are we alone? No. Why are we gathered among the 1,000 of all of us here? We need to find that solution, and we are not alone. Yeah, tourism, there are so many kinds. Some would highlight 3, some would highlight 5, but some countries have about 150 glossary of tourism. All are relevant, be sensitive to it, figure out the new creative, innovative ways. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2015, we have the 17 goals, 169 targets, about 240-something indicators. I hope some of you have memorized the 242 indicators. If you ask me, even the 169 targets or so, I cannot remember. But we do know in some of these we are strong, some not so, but don't be scared. Everybody is experiencing the same. Every year, SDG, performance of countries, are being shared by SDG headquarters in Paris, SDSN in Paris. And if you Google that, you can find the ranking. And Malaysia, for the past 6 years, we are about 50 to the 70 among the about 169 countries. Not so bad, but we believe we can do better. How? By doing it together. So 4 sites of sustainable tourism. The largest market is, of course, the European and the Scandinavian countries. But you look at the fastest growing market of the blue color. It is our region, the Asia and Pacific. And we are so happy to hear from Datuk Seri Panglima Masidi mentioning about the strategy of the Sabah government. We salute Sabah. You have been quite at the leading edge in terms of combining conservation and nature-based tourism. You see, if you go to Sabah, some of the conservation areas, they do have high valuable natural resource, but they don't mine. They mine, M-I-N-E. They preserve it, they conserve it, they go for nature-based tourism, education, and research. We salute you. We shall come back to some more examples of the Sabah. Yes, some countries are very reliant on tourism and affected by various challenges, pandemic, and also the climate change. And looking at this slide, it is coming from the Chief Statistician of Malaysian government. Under Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzzaim Mahidin, since the past few years, Malaysian government are very serious in tracking what are the data and information we can report and share with all Malaysian and the world. And from this, we can see that towards the end of last year and early this year, we were challenged by flood, which is also the product of the climate change impact. And the losses totaling about 6 billion ringgit. And ladies and gentlemen, look at Pakistan. 1/3 of the country is under flood water few months back, and the losses are much more. So let's be ready and get prepared. And with disaster, not only we know how to respond to disaster, but more importantly, how to prepare and be ready better. Tourism outlook from EIU, pretty much what Mr. Harry Wang had shared. We expect 2023 we can recover, but now because of the challenge of some conflict, geopolitical conflict, we have to defer to 2024. Tourism arrival will rise, but as Mr. Harry Wang had said, it's quite a challenge to get to where we were during the pre-pandemic. But ladies and gentlemen, we must not give up, but carry on working together. And look at the examples. But of course, the region which is most active is the Western Europe, then comes the Eastern Europe, then Asia is somewhere in the middle, and of course, Latin America is there, and the Middle East and Africa. Labor shortage. When we were challenged with the pandemic, some of the employees we have to let go, but when we reopen, it's very difficult to get 100% back to join us again. This is another challenge that we all must figure out. If we ever going to be hit again by a pandemic, how can we prepare better, be ready? So maybe some sort of financial mechanism and creativity and innovativeness we need to figure out. If we were ever hit again by something like the pandemic, how can we try to retain and sustain our employee? Maybe the richer countries. When I was having a chat with Datuk Zamri at the airport yesterday, maybe richer countries, they can support their employee because they are quite well off in terms of financial. But for developing countries and small countries, this is a big challenge. How can we do it, perhaps, Datuk Sri Marsidi Manjun, and all the ministers, and all of us? The idea is, don't put the burden only on our leaders, but government forever are encouraging the business and private sector, insurance companies, try to figure out some innovative scheme, how we can support the employee. Government, like Datuk Zamri had mentioned, working very, very hard to give subsidies and financial help. But is that enough coming from government alone? The answer is not. So we need to come up with some sort of creativity and innovativeness. So labor shortage is there. Next one, please. Can somebody help me? Okay. Yeah, WTO highlight on the international tourism. Some are recovering much faster, particularly the segment of Europe and also Americas. Challenging areas are our region of Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And these are some of the figures for the ASEAN countries. Prior to the pandemic, Malaysia is enjoying 26 million persons of tourists coming to Malaysia. During the pandemic, it dropped to 4 million, and 2021, we are catching up, and as Harry Huang had mentioned, we are still catching up. And some figures for the other ASEAN countries, as you can see from the slide. Another challenge. We are excited to build back better, but we must build back better, forward, greener. This would mean, please take a check on whether what we are doing is going to exceed the maximum carrying capacity of what our state or country would offer. Global Footprint Network estimate the annual demand when we are continuing to develop and expanding. We are putting impact on ecological resources through our services. They call it, let's look at country overshoot day. How fast a particular country, in their trajectory of development, they will exceed the maximum carrying capacity. So countries are being arranged from the date, the earliest, to the latest. The earlier you reach the overshoot day, not so good. And which country is that? Qatar, who is hosting the Football World Cup. And maybe this year they're going to reach the overshoot day earlier maybe. Because some of the stadiums we heard, it's under air conditioning. Can you imagine? Malaysia, May 16. Wow, is it bad? Quite good or quite bad? But Malaysia is in the company of Spain, Switzerland, Bahamas, Montenegro, United Kingdom. In the region, wow, Indonesia is doing very well. December the 3rd. Ecuador, December the 6th. The best among all of us is Jamaica, December 20th. So in the breakout session, let's go and interact with our friends from Jamaica, Ecuador, and Indonesia, how to make sure we continue developing but not exceeding the overshoot day. The average for the world is about July for 2022 and 21, but during the pandemic, the overshoot is delayed by one month. It's August 2020. Just to remind ourselves, whatever we do, we shall have an impact in terms of carbon footprint, water footprint, ecological footprint. So these are showing the figures of 1972, the white color, and 2017, the green color. You look at the footprint on the right-hand side. Low-income country, lower middle income, upper middle income, and the high income. If you look at the about 47 years, for low income, from 1.5 to 2, small increment. Lower middle income, from 3, it becomes 5. But you look at the upper middle income. I think Malaysia is included here. From 8 to 17, double up. For high income, 20 to 27. If it were to double up, we would expect 40, but it's only 27. So it is true. Developing country need to carry on developing. If we were to manage our footprint to be better, that's why developing country had been shouting, hello advanced country, please provide some assistance to really help us to lower our carbon emission, to really help us achieve carbon neutrality faster. Just another example to show what are perhaps the carbon dioxide emissions per capita. For the global world, 2020, 4.49 tons per person, per capita. Malaysia, oops, 8.42 tons. We need to really rethink about how we carry on with our development business. Singapore, 8. Thailand, 3.6. Vietnam, 2.61. Indonesia, 2.1. Philippines, 1.2. Cambodia, 0.9. And Myanmar, 0.6. Can we do it? Sabah boleh, Malaysia boleh, inshallah. Carbon footprint of the global tourism. Which sector perhaps are contributing to the bigger carbon footprint? Transportation, ladies and gentlemen, 49%. Then come the goods, and then food, F&B, and then agriculture, services, lodging, construction, and mining. So of the transport modes, the highest contributor is aeroplane. So that's why, if ever we travel faraway places, come back, try to plant a few trees. SUV, no wonder there's one group of population in the advanced country, she went puncturing the tires of SUV because she said SUV emits a lot of carbon dioxide. Datuk Masidi, what are you driving? Anyway, tak apa. Low carbon island and cities. Yeah, many countries and states are doing this, including in Malaysia, and we also encourage the important tourist destination to do this. And Langkawi was among the first. During Datuk Nawawi was the member of parliament over there. But whether it is effective, quite challenging. A lot of people would like to buy EV, electrical vehicle. But the problem in Malaysia is we don't have enough charging station. And only recently, about a few weeks ago, during the campaigning of the GE15, then we heard, oh, we're going to set up 1,000 charging station and 10,000 by 2030. A bit slow. Jadi tengoklah Datuk Marsidi, maybe Sabah can expedite and accelerate and become good example. Sabah boleh, Datuk? Inshallah. Ecotourism. Me coming from environment, I was here as a young lecturer in 1988 to 1996. Wonderful project of research everywhere in Sabah. I admire Sabah. Really, you can balance that. So ecotourism is really good. It's nature-friendly tourism. And the good indicator, second last point, a good indicator is the amount of land still under tropical forest cover. And for Malaysia, as of May this year, Malaysia reported 55% are still under tree cover, which is 18 million hectares. And Sabah, under the Heart of Borneo program, Datuk, which is about 15 years ago, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, they declare to safeguard the forest ecosystem of Borneo. And in Sabah at the moment, Sabah Forestry Department is doing a good job. They come up with a good strategic plan, trying to target certain percentage under permanent forest reserve, which is very good. But Chief Minister and Minister would say, Mazlin, you say don't lock, don't this, don't mine. How to earn income? The answer is ecotourism. And Sabah has been doing that. Well done, Sabah. Keep it up. And of course, while doing this, don't forget the education and capacity building. That is the first transformation plan. Must inform, must educate. Because all of us, we are being trained in silo. But to find sustainable development solution, you really need to cross the boundaries of disciplines, of knowledge, and must bring people from all sectors. Opportunities. We are very happy. Already some of the airlines are already utilizing biofuel. And more, including just now, the top right-hand corner. We are happy to see Air Asia advocating palm oil for biofuel program. That was 2019, 3 years. But any development, update? Not so yet, but I like to believe it's because of the pandemic. We pray some of the Malaysian airlines would try to go for biofuel, and maybe Malaysia Airlines also can make the difference. Yeah? Be an example, inshallah. Former coal mining area being converted to green tourism. This is an example of France. They don't use that mining area anymore. They convert it into UNESCO World Heritage. I know that Sabah also have a plan for Lombong Tembaga Mamut copper mine. Already they stopped mining, and I think they are planning how to convert it into a UNESCO heritage site. But we congratulate Sabah. Kinabalu area already have triple crown. They become the World Heritage Site Kinabalu. They become the Biosphere Reserve UNESCO. And recently, Kinabalu also UNESCO Global Geopark. Congratulations, Datuk Jafri Arifin and Sabah government. This is also a little bit our pride in a way. The Sunway City in Kuala Lumpur actually was built from an abandoned tin mining area. In the 60s and 70s, Malaysia were #1 in terms of tin mining. And Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia, under the Sunway Group, they convert the wasteland into wonderland. And if you have some time in Kuala Lumpur, please come have a look where this process is still ongoing. Through smart technology, smart infrastructure. Malaysian, good food. We eat plenty, we also waste plenty. On average, Malaysians are wasting about 8,000 tons per day. Anyway, one entity in Europe, in Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken, Netherlands, they did a study. If we really rethink, reimagine, and redoing better, for every $1 invested for this sort of purpose, you can save US $7. So, ladies and gentlemen, including hotels in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, and Malaysia, Datuk Seraya, we can explore this. ESG is high on the agenda of Bursa Malaysia. All the top companies which are listed at the Bursa Malaysia, they are encouraged now to do ESG reporting. At the moment, I think it's still voluntary, but soon it's going to be compulsory. I suppose tourism operator also need to warm up with ESG. What is it? You must track how is your company doing in terms of environment, social, and governance. And not only that, you must report so that and share with the public and the government. And this is going to be assessed and given a rating. Each company will given an ESG rating, and banks and financial houses in the future, or even now, they will request, before they provide loans, they want to see your ESG rating. And companies with ESG initiatives and reporting, normally they will perform better, including during pandemic. This is a good example of a rating. If you are a leader in ESG, you are given AAA or AA. Average, triple B, double B. If you are lagging, B or triple C. And you can see during pandemic, those who are ESG AAA rating or AA, or even the average, will perform better than the pink color. Malaysia Productivity Corporation, combining with certain consultants and private sector, they are looking at community-based tourism, as mentioned by Datuk Marsidi. The Academy, under Malaysian Productivity Corporation, they're looking at upskilling, reskilling the local community, reinforcing lifelong learning to continually acquire new and emerging skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever we do, no one should be left behind. Especially, you must include the indigenous community. And we know, Sabah, you are doing it very well. We've been following you through reports, including the Heart of Borneo report by Sabah Forestry Department. Some success stories to encourage sustainable tourism. We look at Peru. They bring in the indigenous community. The SICC Indian community, you look at the sharing of profit. The indigenous Indian community receive 60% of the profit in the joint venture with the private sector. So we should rethink and doing. Business cannot be as usual. Profit must be shared. And this is one good example. We hope there's someone from Peru who can share with us in the breakout session. Sabah, congratulations. Tun Mustafa Marine Park, 1 million hectares. I was involved in the initial study. We know they took a long time, 11 years, to decide Tun Mustafa Marine Park to be conserved. Congratulations, they did that. Danum Valley is an example which we researchers really salute. I think about 40, 45 years. If you visit Danum Valley, what is quite innovative is that's among the first in Sabah and in the country where they apportion the logged area on one side and the untouched area on one side. We compare. Even the logged area, they did it through SFM, Sustainable Forest Management. Maliau Basin, I was with Academic Science Malaysia around 2006, 2007, 1,000 meters above sea level. We did the expedition. We saw the beautiful coal seam, Arang Batu. Beautiful. Most people will not stand by looking at the coal. Definitely we want to mine it, but not Sabah. Sabah keep it and declare Maliau Basin Conservation Area. Congratulations. And they keep it and they earn money now through tourism, through education, through research. And of course, Imbak Canyon, the latest one. And I heard there's going to be 2 more. Well done, Sabah. Now going to Malaysia, Semenanjung, Malaysia, Langkawi Island, the first global geopark, and also a few states in Malaysia are following this. Becoming national geopark first before becoming the global geopark. Putrajaya Lake under UNESCO International Hydrological Program is a world demo site where they convert the dirty lake problem into a first-class lake system by utilizing constructed wetlands. Langat River is also under the UNESCO Hydrology for Environment, Life and Policy. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have problem. Can we find solution? Yes. But how you do it? Multi-helix cooperation and collaboration. Australia, Great Barrier Reef. We know we have some learned practitioner and from academia of Australia. You are also grappling with climate change. The surface sea temperature is increasing. Land-based pollution also gets into the Great Barrier Reef, but during the pandemic, they recover bit by bit. So hopefully, the corals are having back their colors bit by bit. Again, it is a working, finding solution through cooperation and collaboration. Ecuador, Galapagos. To enter Galapagos, you have to make a booking well in advance. And the price is not so cheap, same like Sabah Sipadan Island. It used to be many tourist operators on the island, but one day Sabah government say, please move out, let Sipadan recover, and today they control the number of scuba divers is 120. I thought I saw Samson Shark, Borneo divers. Are you here? But anyway, that was my first diving lesson here at Datuk Wan City with the Borneo divers. Tourism in Japan. Everybody loves to go to Japan. Everybody loves to visit the temples of Japan. So serene, so peaceful, so clean. Expecting better hygiene, better sanitation, more clean the environment. Let's try to figure out how Japan can do it. Even at the World Cup soccer in Qatar, after a soccer match, everybody goes home, Japanese tourists will pick up the rubbish. Oh my God. Where did they learn about this? Any Japanese in the room? Yeah, that's one. 999 other participants. Please zoom in on Mr. X from Japan here. Third seat, the right hand side. Please stand up, sir. Malaysian, we really need to buck up and change. Netherlands, what we learn? We can develop, yes. Can we build highways? Yes. But please think of the fauna, the wildlife. Think of the wildlife crossing. But Semenanjung, Malaysia, Central Forest Spine, if you Google Central Forest Spine, Malaysia, yeah, they are thinking about connecting the 4 main complexes to allow movement like this. So we are learning. Don't be shy to admit our weakness, our shortcoming. That is the #1 rule. Admit our weakness. Don't be shy to learn from others. Preparedness is the final point I want to say. 7 more minutes. IMF mentioned tourism in a post-pandemic world. Yeah, we were scared when pandemic hit us in the beginning. No vaccine, no nothing, scared. Stay at home. 2 months. Eat, become big. But once the vaccine is there, we are happy. And we can gather 1,000, 2,000 in big halls like this. So we are praying, the bright scientists, the medical researcher, let's try to build up more vaccine centers around the world. So maybe in the breakout session, tourism industry need to be more sustainable because the tourists, when they travel nowadays, they want to know whether that location can provide a good health and medical service if they ever were to be sick. Because nowadays, insurance will cover for incidences of pandemic or unexpected illness due to travel. So we need to find ways and better ways to do this. Thailand allocates 700 million to spur domestic tourism. Vanuatu offered grants. We know that MOTAC also provides some grants to sustain tourist operator. Jamaica, they utilize online training certification for tourism worker. Still continuing, we admire Costa Rica. National holiday temporarily been moved to Monday to boost domestic tourism, extending weekend. Or kalau Malaysia, we do this, happy semua. Very happy, 3-day weekend. But quite smart to spur domestic tourism. Fiji, they launched a blue lane. Thailand, look into adventure travel, health and wellness, but everybody is still safeguarding the social distancing. Solutions will differ from country to country. We all need to find that solution, the new normal for the tourism industry. I'm sure the 1,000 of us here definitely can find that magical solution. This is by Grover 2022, 4 key recovery priorities for tourism. Try to look at local tourism more, and then don't destroy the ecology, protect it. You protect, you earn more. Look at Sabah, they had done it. Improve infrastructure. Infrastructure, really, you need to be creative in designing new kind of infrastructure to take care not only about the human being, also wildlife. And of course, people feel more comfortable to fly using aeroplane. But aeroplane is the most biggest carbon dioxide emitter. So in life, ladies and gentlemen, very difficult how to balance development and conservation. Smart guide, using technology. Some people, they want to go to certain touristic destination. They don't want to mingle with so many people. So some countries already come out with smart guide, handphone. You walk using like the Wave and the GoTo, Google GoTo. And when you arrive at a certain point, you punch in a certain application, you get information about that touristic site. We were thinking about this for Global Geopark Langkawi. If you arrive at a certain geosite or a cave, you pay maybe US 99 cents. You can figure out distribution. Who gets 10 cents, who gets 9 cents. We can figure that out. Smart guide. Prepare for disaster. For Malaysia, more frequent flash floods, we need to figure out. For some other places, it's drought. So some other places, typhoon. Willingness to pay, is it there? Is it possible? Yeah. There shall be always someone or a group of someone who are willing to pay. But we must be ready to provide that expected and demanded service. This is a good example where government and private sector coming together. This was October this year. Dr. Zamri was there. Dr. Yasmin was there. The right-hand gentleman is Anthony Wong, owner of Frangipani Hotel. If you Google that, that is perhaps one of the greenest hotels in Malaysia. And Anthony, over the 30 over years, in his hotel, he figured out environment-friendly ways. He has about now 260 rainwater harvesting system. He managed to save water bills by 50%. He brings in natural lighting. He has a small constructed wetland to treat the wastewater. He plant nature-based plant to protect the shore, so on and so on. And MOTAC are forever encouraging this. And Anthony has offered his hotel under the Malaysian Green Building and Malaysian Association of Hotel Owner endorsed this hotel as the Center of Excellence for Sustainable Hospitality. I'm sure Sabah, some of the hotels can emulate and can do better. Another special niche. I think this is close to the heart of Datuk Suraya and Datuk Zamri, the Islamic Tourism Center. Among the different kinds of tourism, there are always the religious base, and we're happy for some of the countries which are, we know, non-Muslim country like Japan and Thailand, they are already thinking of creative ways to provide good facility for the halal seeking tourists. Thailand is now well known. When Malaysians go there, they came back, they say, ooh, toilets in Thailand are so clean now. No matter whether it's old or new, all are clean. What can we say about Japan? Forever clean, 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 peaceful. Malaysian in Japan will keep the rubbish in the pocket. Once they come to Malaysia, they throw again. So we need how to figure out to change our behavior. This is an example of academia working with practitioners and experts of tourism. Any good practice, academia, please do your research and become the memory keeper. When practitioners do something, we observe, we record down, we share with the world. We hope this can be also followed by other researchers in the world. Sultan Nazrin always reminds us with his good messages. This is talking about ESG, particularly the Global Compact, particularly the young. When we do things, do not go for greenwashing, but do it with compassion and sincerity. Heart of Borneo, Sabah, 2nd December, about 3 days' time. In this hall, they are discussing the holistic and pragmatic approach. This one, I got it from Mr. Rohizam. I hope he's in the room. He's the president of the Malaysian Technology Tourism Association of Malaysia. He's willing to offer that his association can work towards building Malaysia as a tourism nation. So maybe he can share with you some of his ideas. Local reporting to support the voluntary national review. This is part of the Malaysian SDG Center as announced by Prime Minister last 6 September. We hope under the new Prime Minister, this will also carry on. I know this is under EPU, Economic Planning Unit, Prime Minister's Department. Towards the end, second last slide, rapid integrated assessment. This is how a tool can be used to help us mainstream SDG into our planning system. Only talk, not doing, no good. Try to figure out what is best for your locality. Takeaway messages, final. Tourists demand greater safety and security. We must prepare for a more climate resilient tourism. Quality tourism must be there. No one should be left behind, especially the indigenous community. And don't forget your employee. If they run away, you want to get them back, it's very difficult. Think of investment, think of circular economy. If possible, zero emission. If possible, zero carbon emission. Education is important, training is important. Health system is important. Energy system must be looking at cleaner sources. Sustainable land use, agriculture, forestry. Who knows the best balance? You. You know the best balance for your state, for your locality. Urban infra and livability, 70% or 75% are living in urban, high density, high challenges. Digitalization, do not forget, technology is always there to help us out, including for monitoring, tracking, and reporting. Nature tourism is a good way to balance conservation and income generation. And finally, don't forget, good governance and financial system need to be creative and forever innovative. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Sabah boleh, Malaysia boleh, insyaAllah. Thank you.